Buff Nation?
Let's go.
Welcome into DNVR Buffs Primetime. We're presented by Illegal Pete's. Check out any of their 10 Colorado locations for happy hour, 3 to 6 p.m. every day. My name is Jake Shwanitz. Here with me, RK. Ryan, what a day.
What a day, man. Look at the people in the comments showing love before we even get started. Yes, we were late. No, it was not our fault. In fact, it was absolutely the fault of the DNVR Nuggets podcast.
Yes, exactly.
Who were in these chairs before us. And funny enough, they were flexing about how they had 500 likes on their show.
Right.
Which they did not. But I feel like just to kind of over-flex them, we should actually get 500 likes just to show them what it looks like.
Yeah, that'd be amazing. Or how about even this? Before we're done with the first segment, top them in likes.
Yeah, there we go. I think they had 197. I think
Let's go.
we can get that done by the first ad break.
Absolutely, we can. We got a fun show today. I think we're ready for a little bit of fighting, maybe some wars in the comments with this one.
Yep,
but
it's a spicy one.
It is. We're going to be projecting our initial starting lineups, both offense and defense. We said initial. I kind of thought of it as like crunch time. You know what I mean? Like when it comes down to it,
yes.
Who's going to be on the field?
Right. That was one thing we wanted to make super clear. Is it's like this is not snap one against TCU.
Right.
This is more like, I don't know, home to Utah, chance to go to the Pac-12 championship on the line.
I was going to say, like, imagine the Celebration Bowl, that last drive, who was on the field for both teams as they tried to bring home that win at Jackson State.
Exactly. Perfect.
All right.
And keep in mind, we know there's going to be more additions. We also projected, at least in one place, an addition.
Right.
So this is super early.
Yes.
It's something that now that we have these graphics, we can update whenever we want.
Yep, exactly. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Woody, Jimmy's in here. Lawrence is in here. Monty's in here. Steven, what's up, guys?
Also, real quick on the transfer portal.
Yes, tell them.
No one can enter the transfer portal. It is officially closed. Halloween Town can't get back.
Yes.
But those, if you're in the portal, you can leave. And so the other side of the portal is open. It's just the entrance that's closed. The exit of the portal is still open. So the Buffs could add more transfers, more guys. You just can't. What won't happen is any of the current players or the returning players won't be entering until May.
And also, you'll probably see, like, from Feral Portal and On3 that other people are entering the portal. These aren't new from today. These are going to kind of trickle in still.
Yep. This
stuff kind of just takes time between schools and all that. All right, let's get to it, Yaya. Let's throw up these graphics, and let's talk about this starting offense.
Love that we're in shotgun.
Yes, of course. We're starting at the quarterback. Easiest one to do, I think, out of all of these 22 positions.
Absolutely. The easiest one to do. I hate to say no competition because you'd like to have some competition, but no, it's a no competition.
Yep. Not even a clear backup yet.
Right. Which is kind of interesting.
Right.
But I mean, already just the videos that came out of him just throwing the ball around the IPF yesterday.
Yes.
Is just the way it pops off his hand. The accuracy, I know it's just throwing on air, and I always try to remind myself of that.
Right.
Like, don't get excited over throws on air. But I don't know. Like, this isn't like Russell Wilson throwing on air.
Yeah.
This is Shedeur Sanders throwing on air. He is, not even a junior in college yet, and just absolutely putting the ball to the inch where he wants to put it at any time. And I love he's working with the wide receivers, and he's saying hey, look. If you want to run that 11, that's fine. But when you get the ball, you got to be catching it at 10. So you got to come back to it. Just all of the little fine details for, again, a sophomore in college.
Mm-hmm. Wearing the Brady T-shirt.
It's just, it's a thing of beauty. I said it a million times, but I could not be more excited to watch him play quarterback for the Buffs.
Yeah, perfectly said. I mean, you nailed all the points. Try not to get too excited throwing on air, but man, the arm talent is so apparent. The ball placement is so impressive. I can't wait. Next, we're going to the guys protecting for Shedeur. Offensive line.
Okay.
Go ahead. Right tackle is where we're starting. Savion Washington, who probably the best offensive lineman already at this point.
Yeah, when we went through this, that's who I looked at as like, I think he's going to end up being the most trusted person on this line.
Right.
And he's a beast. He, like we've talked about a lot, knows this offense as well as anyone. Going to be a huge asset just to have in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I think a future NFL player.
For sure. It's going to be a big season for him, too. He obviously knows Sean Lewis's offense. Can't wait to watch him pulling around and just smacking guys in the face. Next one. I'm assuming right guard. Tyler Brown, our guy.
Legend.
All SWAC player last year. Has talked about maybe trying to play some center, but it seems like a lock on the interior offensive line.
Yep, absolutely. It is crazy. Like, obviously, you see him play. He looks big. He was on the show. He looks big. When you see him in the well-off videos, he looks huge.
Yes.
That is a mountain.
Yeah, a very big boy. We're excited to have
Also,
him.
always has a smile on his face, which I appreciate.
Yes, and still, the Denver Broncos shirt the other day that he was wearing just
Incredible.
launched him even further up my favorite player rankings already.
Broncos getting a lot of love in, like, Sanders media or Buffs media. You had the video from the pregame show where they were driving past the stadium, and Travis is like, "Oh, maybe I'd play there." Mm-hmm. Then you have the destroying video, which I watched last night. What a incredible piece of content.
Yes.
Like I was so impressed. I'll be watching more videos on that channel. One of the coolest parts of this whole experience is how much new content I've been exposed to.
Yeah.
And destroying absolutely destroyed that video in the best way possible.
For sure.
But Travis pointed, he's like, "This is where I want to play. Denver Broncos. I won't even have to move." I was like, of all the places.
I know.
He says he wants to play for the Broncos. Hell yeah.
And he picked the Broncos over his favorite team, which we learned was the San Francisco 49ers.
Wild. We didn't get to hear Shador answer that question.
No. I'm interested what he says.
Yeah,
Maybe
me too.
Dallas?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah.
Bucks, because he's a Brady guy.
There you go. Center. Yeah. Everyone should know this by now. Van Wells, all PFF all freshman selection to their team last year. Again, a guy that coaches raved about from the very beginning to the end of the year.
And that was him snapping the ball to Shador in that video, right?
Mm-hmm.
I found that notable for sure. That's, I wouldn't say it makes him a lock or anything, but it's clearly like, hey, I want to work with the center. Who's the center? Here you go.
Yep. There's also that video too, a well-off one where Coach Prime's address. It's the first team meeting, and he points to the grad transfers. Where are you guys at? Why'd you come here and all that? Like, we want to win. Van Wells went to stand up, but then Sean Lewis stood up, and loud Sean Lewis projected over Van Wells.
Wow.
But Van Wells was up there early. He wanted to say something.
Love that.
Next guy, left guard. We've got Isaiah Jota. This one, I think, is
Up for debate?
yes. Landon Beebe comes in as a graduate transfer also. He's a senior. They've got plenty of other guys that they're bringing in on the offensive line, JUCOs and new recruits. We'll see here.
Yeah, I went with Jota.
Mm-hmm.
I think he just, from what I've seen, fits what they're trying to do really well. It could be anyone though. Like didn't we watch clips of Landon Beebe and we were really impressed.
Yeah.
So this is what an incredible thing to be talking about.
Right.
How there is a spot on the offensive line where we don't know the answer, not because they're also bad,
Right.
but because they're good.
Yes.
Like they have legitimate options here, and the truth is, I'll touch wood so I don't jinx anything, but you need depth on the offensive line because the chances are someone's going to go down at some point. So good problem to have, but I'm going Jota.
Left tackle. I think a lot of us know this one too. Tank. Jared Christian Lichtenhan. Again, the measurables. 6'10", 315 pounds.
Like NFL scouts are drooling over that. Although some people would say maybe too tall.
Yeah.
Especially for those bendy, like Von Miller types.
Right.
Not that there's a lot of Von Millers out there, but
right.
Like you're kind of reaching down pretty low, but long arms, huge frame. Somehow, like at 315, still looks like he can add. Ideal, especially with the way that they've been chasing height on the edges.
Lawrence asked now about this Tank kid. Can he move? I mean, I'll need to go back and look at the actual film to tell you exactly how he played, but he was someone the coaches raved about. He started like midway through the year and held that starting position on a much improved offensive line, 2021 to 2022. For
his size, he can move.
Yes, for sure.
He's not like, I don't know. Sometimes you see that big guy out there who's just there to be big. He's not that.
No. Also, if you have like a Kyler Murray or Russell Wilson on your team, maybe a tough fit with a 6'10" left tackle. Yes. Even though that is the blind side, but still.
That's a good point. Shedeur, plenty of height.
Yes, for sure. All right, moving on. I think we're going running back now. So we got the guys blocking. We're going to throw running back Dylan Edwards. Another one that's maybe up for debate here too.
Yeah, and this is like, I don't know, maybe a silly conversation because starting running back, how much does that really matter?
Right.
Almost never do you see one running back get all the carries, especially in college.
Mm-hmm.
It's happening in a few places in the NFL where you have like Derrick Henry. Mm-hmm. But Kavosiey Smoke is going to get a ton of run. I just think Dylan Edwards is so explosive and so dangerous that, remember, this is not week one. By the end of the season, I guess when we're talking about who's getting more touches, I just think it's going to be Dylan Edwards. I think he's too explosive to not be giving as many touches as possible.
Yeah, the pass pro is going to be an issue. A lot of people saying Kavosiey will start. I mean, I don't disagree with that. In terms of like first running back on the field, first play of the game, first run of the game, probably Kavosiey Smoke. Maybe even Deion Smith or
maybe.
Hankerson. Yeah.
I'm still on the Edwards train.
Yeah?
Yep.
I mean,
but I'm not trying to take away from Smoke. Like,
right.
He is absolutely a necessary part of what they're trying to do on offense.
Yes.
And I'm a big fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Edwards is just a blue chip top tier player.
He is. There's that video that came out today on the pregame show where Gary Harrell and Kavosiey Smoke in there breaking down film already.
Love that.
His game at Kentucky and like what Coach Harrell likes, what he could fix and stuff like that.
I told you there was going to be some controversy in the comments. This is the first truly controversial one. A lot of people go and Smoke. You can't go wrong here. But he I don't know. I'm just so high on Dylan Edwards.
I get you. Shout out Monty. He's the one that sent me the video from the pregame show today that caught me up.
We always appreciate you guys keeping us in the loop because there's so much to stay in the loop on. We also had someone else tag us in the Prime Athletic article yesterday, so you guys are the best.
Yep. Moving on though, tight end. Let's finish out the trenches, if you will. Sado Traore.
Really quick, a lot of love for Anthony Hankerson also in the comments.
Love to see that. Yep.
I don't know. I'm not sleeping on him. Mm-hmm. He's going to be in the rotation for sure.
For sure.
I just don't know if he's going to be the starter.
You got to get healthy too. Seeing a healthy Anthony Hankerson, I think, could be a lot different than what we saw last year, even though he was good last year.
Yep.
On Sado Traore, last year for the Arkansas State Red Wolves, 50 receptions, 655 yards, and 4 touchdowns, 13.1 yards per catch average as a tight end.
And you saw him in the videos working with Shedeur, and he looks like a beast. So, yeah, I mean, unless they add in the portal, I would say this one's just about a lock.
Right.
He was one of their top targets to get in the portal. They got him. He's a beast. He is going to eat in the seam, I think, for Shedeur.
And there's some young guys at tight end too. Caleb Farrier, Eric Olson, Austin Smith. I mean, we barely saw them at times, but it's a very young tight end room, so we'll see if anyone emerges.
Do you know who the other one that was working with them in that video was?
I don't. I don't even know who was in, because on the thumbnail it was Jimmy Horn and someone else. I don't know who was next to him in that thumbnail either. Still learning faces.
Yes.
All right, wide receivers.
But we know Jimmy Horn. Don't come after us like they came after Bucky.
Right, for sure. We're starting at the bottom. Omarion Miller. We went with him over Adam Hopkins. I guess, should we just show all the wide receivers and then kind of get into it all? Because...
Sure.
Just show the rest of them, Yaya. So in the slot, I think that would be next. Okay. Give us a minute, guys. There it is. Jimmy Horn Jr. and then Travis Hunter at the top. Before you guys start, we acknowledge Jordan Tyson. With the injury and all that, we'll see. It would be great to have him in this, your starting 11 personnel.
Yes.
But who knows exactly where he's going to be at any point this year.
Right. And the latest thing we heard was Mike Sanford saying he was confident he would play this next season. But he kind of just gets a tough shake in this conversation because it's like, well, you just have to see. A lot of times what happens with a late season injury like that is the next year you might feel 90% by week 6.
Right.
And you have to ask yourself, and obviously doctors are involved in this too, does it make sense to push it now, or should we keep trying to get to 100%? So then, by the time you're feeling maybe 95%, now it's week 8. Okay, does it make sense to even come back this year, or do you want to just stay in your rehab and come back the year after at 100%?
With that,
true
though,
100%.
You have the 4-game redshirt rule. So if he comes back late enough in the year, can play the last 4 games or whatever, and then you can count it as a redshirt, I think that's best case scenario, really.
Just look at, I guess, Jamal Murray.
Right.
Perfect example. Like, he could have come back last season for the Nuggets at 90%. And in the end, he just made the decision, like, I want to come back at a true 100%.
Yep. Have
a whole off season to like prepare with the team and not be thrown in at the very end.
For sure. So then going back, we have Travis at the top. He's going to be playing both ways, obviously. And I've made my thoughts clear on where I think he should focus his talents.
Right. And again, this is, in a must-win game. You notice that in the Celebration Bowl, Travis Hunter played a lot more on offense than just like a fun little gadget. Like, no, he became wide receiver 1 in that game. And I think that's similar to what is going to happen here. It's interesting in the Destroying video talking about potentially winning the Heisman. And they're like, well, yeah, defensive guys don't really win the Heisman. But I play both ways. So
right.
I think he's going to get a lot of run.
For sure. And then Omarion Miller at the bottom. We were kind of between him, Hopkins, MLC. I think we're just going with the upside of the young talent here.
Yeah. 99.6.
Yes.
IGA score.
There you go.
But the wide receiver depth is very solid. Montana's going to come in here. Remember, we're essentially projecting the starting 11 on one play, which could be quite different on the next play other than Shador and the offensive line.
For sure. As people are saying in the comments, this wide receiver room is very deep. You got the recruits, too, that we liked. Trying to get to them. Do you remember their name? Jacob Page? Was that one of them?
Yep. We mentioned Adam Hopkins, Omarion Miller.
Yep. And then who else? Oh, Jordan Onavu as well. Isaiah Harge. As I said, Jacob Page. Asad Wasim, who we liked.
Yeah, for sure.
And they've been having other like veteran, I don't know if they've been grad transfers, but they've had a lot of receivers visiting still also. They lost the 2 guys, Broden and Tesla, to Arkansas, but it seems like they've been trying to get another vet in the room.
Yep. And someone in the comments, Lawrence, was saying, look at JSU's entire season, not just the Celebration Bowl. Travis had packages for the most part. We totally know.
Yep.
The point was, we're talking about who's the starting 11 in a game of, the importance of the Celebration Bowl, or maybe close to the importance.
For sure. All right. Before we move on, shout out to our friends over at DraftKings Sportsbook. Is the NFL divisional round, best weekend of the year. And DraftKings Sportsbook is the best place to bet. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $200 in free bets instantly. You got your stepped-up same-game parlays boosting your winnings up to 100%, of course. Great deals always at the top of the screen if you just scroll across. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use code DNVR. New customers can bet $5 on the NFL divisional round and get $200 in free bets instantly. Only at DraftKings Sportsbook with code DNVR. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Also, shout out to Jive Hive, which is a virtual dispensary on wheels that offers convenient pricing and the privacy and security you would want if you wanted discreet delivery, lawyers, doctors. Also, if you're partying at home, avoid driving. Have them come to you. Just visit jivehive.com. That's JIVEHYVE.com and get your order delivered the same day or schedule a delivery window. We'll be there to say hi. Head over to jivehive.com and enter your address to find out if Jive Hive can deliver to your door. Now serving Aurora, Greenwood Village, Monument, Fountain, and various areas of El Paso County. That's JIVEHYVE.com. Don't drive, Jive Hive.
Jake, you
Yes?
said, can we pass the Nuggets in likes before the end of the first segment?
Let's go.
And we've done it.
Love to see it.
Now, on to 500.
The mission for 500.
The mission for 500. We got to show our friends. We love the Nuggets. We love the Nuggets beat. We just have to show them, like, here's what it looks like to have 500 likes on a show while you're live.
Exactly. We know our fans got us.
Oh, yeah.
All right, defense?
Yes, and someone in the comments, by the way, I'm sorry I missed it. The comments are popping off. Said only 2 of the 11 starters that we put on that graphic played at CU last year.
Yep.
That's, of course, the 2 offensive linemen.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, I think it's nice for or important for people to visualize that when you see idiots on Twitter talking about they were 1-11 last year.
Right.
How are they going
Right.
to beat Nebraska? Like,
Yep.
I won't say what I want to say, but like, open your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that. This isn't that team.
For sure.
There's almost nothing the same other than the colors.
You're right. Tank and Van Wells, Lawrence. That's the 2 guys from last year. All right, yeah, defense. Here we go. So we're going to go from the bottom to the top here, starting with the trenches once again. And we're going with the edge rushers. Go ahead, Yaya.
The reveal, the suspense is killing
I
me.
know. Who could it be?
Technical difficulties. There it is.
Jordan Dominic, one of the newest transfers into the program, former Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket, right?
Yes.
And then Arkansas Razorback last year. He had some great stats. Let's see. At Georgia Tech, charted 103 total tackles, 17.5 tackles for a loss, 16.5 sacks, 2 passes defensed. Then last year at Arkansas, 34 total tackles, 9.5 tackles for a loss, 7.5 sacks, and 2 forced fumbles.
He jumped up my rank. We got to do a show soon here about like transfer excitement rankings.
Mm-hmm.
He's way up on mine right
Yeah.
now. 7.5 sacks in the SEC.
Yes, sir.
Let's go. By the way, we went with a 4-2-5 defense here. Again, projecting a little bit, but this whole show, I guess, is
Right.
projecting.
Yep.
We don't. They're going to be super multiple on defense. They're going to run a bunch of different lineups. We had even talked about, like, do we do a different graphic for every lineup?
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's probably going to get repetitive with only a few changes here and there. So 4 down, 2 linebackers, 5 DBs was what we went with here, and we'll see what happens.
Yep. Moving inside now. Got Leonard Payne, the big boy from Fresno State. Over the last 2 seasons, and this is as defensive tackle, 5.5 sacks combined, listed at 6'3", 315 pounds. I believe he is also a grad transfer.
Yep.
But a big man up front.
Yeah. Kind of the one, like, space eater
Yep.
that they have taken in the portal, and I think that's no coincidence. Also, you mentioned it, I think, the other day, but Jalen Sami made an appearance
Right.
in a well-off video. He could be here too, but we went with the newcomer, who was very clearly a target for the Buffs.
100%. Next one next to him, Shane Cokes, your guy.
My guy.
Transferred in from Dartmouth. Was named second team All-Ivy League in 2021 and 2022. Over the last 2 seasons, 85 tackles, 8.5 sacks, 1 pass defensed, and 1 forced fumble. I'm trying to pull up his measurements right now, but go ahead. It's your guy.
Yeah, just an absolute beast. And sure, it was in the Ivy League. And it's going to be important for him to be able to make the jump over to the Pac-12. But when you watch his film and you see a guy who's not just like, I don't know, he's not just physically better. Like, he has a bag of moves. He's really, really strong at the point of attack. And honestly, he can play either. He could play this defensive tackle.
Yep.
He could play D-end in more of a 3-4 look. So however you wanted to do it, he's super versatile. But I think in this look where we're going to kind of go like true edge with, two more interior, I think you play him alongside a space eater like Leonard Payne, and you give him one-on-one interior matchups, like he's going to win.
For sure. You already talked about Jalen Sami. Another guy who we didn't throw on here, Marshawn Nealand, who would be a massive piece for this team. What's he doing?
Some questions surrounding him.
Right. Still has his CU stuff up, by the way. So we'll see.
There we go.
The other edge on the opposite side of this defensive line, Taylor Upshaw, grad transfer from Michigan. Didn't play a lot his first 4 seasons, but last year really kind of carved out a role for himself. Sorry, I don't have last year's stats, but total 37 total tackles, 10 TFLs, 5.5 sacks, and he had an interception.
A game-clinching interception against Ohio State.
Yep.
Which was impressive. By the way, we've got... Oh, I'm confused. Never mind.
Okay.
What did you call Dartmouth?
Dartmouth.
That's what we've got. Ivy League Mac is giving us the pronunciation guide here, but I think we were saying it right. Yeah, I think so too.
Last year at Michigan, 11 total tackles, 4 tackles for a loss, 1.5 sacks, and that interception. A big jump from what he had been before in terms of games played. 14 games played, so every game played for Michigan last year. Only 11 combined up until then.
What was the measurables?
For Upshaw, let me get his official measurables from the Michigan site.
Okay, and then did you find Cokes?
Yeah, so Shane Cokes, 6'3", 275, as you said. Like big, but not big enough that he can still be versatile.
Yeah, and I've heard that he's bigger than that.
That's
right
great.
now. Yeah.
Taylor Upshaw, 6'4", 255. That's a big edge. You love that.
Wow. I don't mean this in like a negative way. He plays heavier than that, meaning like he looks like he's tougher to deal with than 255.
No. He looks good though. I mean, this is an athlete at 6'4", like
big time.
No
athlete.
extra weight. Let's go to the second level. This is another one kind of up for debate.
Same time or one by one?
We can just do one by one. We'll talk about each because these guys are important still. First one, Levante Bentley, of course, transferred in from Clemson. 4-star recruit in the 2019 class. Through 4 seasons at Clemson, racked up 73 tackles, 11.5 tackles for a loss, 5.5 sacks, 2 passes defensed, and 2 forced fumbles. Only had 417 defensive snaps across 40 games. It's pretty good numbers for only that many snaps.
Yep. And this is one of those cases that you just wonder, like, was he just behind too good of a group? That is not going to be a problem for him at Colorado. And I'll be honest, this is the position I'm most worried about. And I think it's maybe one of the reasons why we leaned 4-2-5. Because I don't know if this is necessarily a situation where you're trying to get more linebackers on the field.
Right.
Now, obviously, those edge guys can play outside linebacker, and that changes things depending on the look you're going for. But in terms of off-ball linebackers, like I think you actually might see a situation where you're getting a safety playing at one of these positions often. And, Bentley feels like he should be a lock because there's just not all that much to contest with there.
Right. People are mentioning Taj McCoy and Taj Alston on the edges. I mean,
Tajay
McCoy and Taj Alston at the edges. I mean, go ahead, put whoever you want in. The fact that they have these 4 guys that they can kind of rely on already, though, already more impactful than what they had before. The next linebacker, here we go. Morgan Pearson. We're shooting our shot here.
We are.
3-star recruit, but man, another guy who's a slash player. Played both ways when we watched his high school tape. Just a pure athlete, though. And it was really notable because I think he was listed at wide receiver in the recruiting databases. And then when his commitment was announced at CU, they listed him linebacker, tagged with Andre Hart.
Yeah. This was the guy at Arizona State who then transferred to USC. Gentry, I think was his name. This is kind of us shooting our shot on Morgan Pearson being this guy. I don't know. Like I said, it's such a wide open position that I think if he comes in and flashes what we saw from him on tape, then he flashes that he can do this at this level, it's going to be like a development play. You put him alongside a super experienced guy in Levante Bentley and say, hey, Levante, get him in the right position.
Yep.
Make sure he knows what's going on. And then Morgan, you just go out there and make plays.
Right.
And that's what he did so well in high school. So yes, calling our shots a little bit here, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fact, at least on my part, that there's just not a lot of options here that get you excited. Pearson, his tape will get you excited.
We have Jeremiah Brown from Jackson State also, who's going to be playing a lot for sure at linebacker. And then as people in the comments have mentioned, our guy from London, Kofi Taylor-Barracks, Victory Johnson is also a 3-star recruit. And then they have guys like Marvin Ham, Aubrey Smith that played a lot last year at linebacker. I mean, we've talked about how multiple it's going to be. You're going to see a lot of different guys moving in and out too, especially if they want to kind of, go tit for tat with this fast-paced offense, like seeing a game with Oregon. You're going to need fresh bodies.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think I'm probably short. I think I should give more credit to Jeremiah Brown coming over from Jackson State. Super productive there. And I guess if I wasn't shooting my shot on Morgan Pearson, then I would go with Jeremiah Brown.
Jeremiah Brown's stats last year: 46 total tackles, 10 TFLs, 6 sacks, 2 forced fumbles, and 1 blocked kick.
Another one where you're like, was he playing edge?
Yeah.
Just very talented.
I mean, we talked about Houston at JSU. I think a lot of these guys, we've talked about it, two-way players, slashes a lot of the times when you see where they're listed. Versatile and multiple.
Absolutely.
Let's go back to my favorite part of the field, the secondary, man. And here's the big one.
Oh, talk about shooting our shot.
Yes, sir.
More like calling our shot, I guess. Why not?
Why not?
Cormani McLean starting on one side of the on the field for the Buffs. We think he's coming, so we might as well just throw him in there. This one was, we're having a little fun with it, but if he's here, he's starting.
Yep, he said he wanted to play early. Not a better place in the country to play early with this coaching staff than at Colorado.
I have to imagine this is what he's seeing. Mm-hmm. You're playing on the opposite side of Travis Hunter. You're starting immediately, and you're going to get opportunities. I loved what Travis said. He's like, talking about playing in the Pac-12. He's like, I heard they throw a lot. Like, oh, yeah. He's got to be telling that to Cormani, too. Yep. Like, hey, they got to throw at one of us.
Right.
Someone's getting picks.
For sure. I'd love to see how many picks the team had last year. Let me see if I can find that. Throw up the next one, though, Yaya. So this is going to be our slot guy. We've got Cameron Silman Craig from JSU. We saw him play a lot near the line of scrimmage, a lot in coverage. He plays all over the field. Deep safety, slot, everything.
I almost wish we would have just put an N on there, because I know people are going to say, well, he was listed as a safety.
Right.
He's kind of an everything. He was a jack of all trades for that Jackson State defense. So we're envisioning him lining up kind of up near the line of scrimmage in that nickel role where he can just kind of make plays and you can filter things towards him. We also talked about, like, Trevor Woods can play this position if you want him to.
We had a real long discussion about Nico Reed here also.
Nico Reed, like, depending on what you're doing, is it 3rd and 14? Okay, well, maybe you're bringing Nico Reed out there to play this position. Or, is it 1st and 10 against a team that has a strong running back? Okay, now you got Trevor Woods out there.
Yep.
So there's a bunch of different ways you could go with this, but Silman Craig made so many plays for that defense, and the number one word people use about him from Jackson when I talk to him is dog. He's a dog.
Hell yes.
And that's what you need at this position.
Yep, heard that a lot. We're at 306 likes now.
Sheesh. We're going to do it. We're going to hit 500
The mission
today.
for 500 is alive and well. The next cornerback, we don't even need to say who it is. You guys know who it is. Travis Hunter. Just looking at that, wow. Cormani McLean, Travis Hunter. Where do you throw the ball?
You don't. Good luck.
Yes.
Like I said, you're going press man on the outside. It's every defensive coordinator's literal dream. I mean, just look at the 2015 Denver Broncos. Like the last defense to just carry a team straight up to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It was Chris Harris Jr. on one side, Aqib Talib on the other side. You had Bradley Roby playing in the slot. And you just said, okay, well, we're going to go press man. And then guess what? We've got Von Miller and DeMarcus Ware coming after you. And you're not going to have any time. And those guys aren't getting open quick against these guys.
Yep.
That's what's going to happen for Charles Kelly. If they're able to lock down Cormani McLean and get him here, you're just saying, like, good luck against our corners. By the way, we've got, Jordan Dominic and Taylor Upshaw, or,
Right.
Tajay McCoy or Taij Alston.
There you go.
Just whatever you want to do. Like, if you can't get open quickly because you're getting locked down by two of the best corners, two of the highest rated corners in recruiting history,
Yes.
you can't do anything in the passing game.
Yep. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of turnovers. Before we move on to safeties, we should mention Kendrick Breedlove. He came in from Ole Miss. Seen a lot of people high on him, so he's going to have his name in the hat. We already talked about Nico Reed. There's Tavion Beasley, who also came in from Jackson State. And then we have three-star cornerback Carter Stoutmeyer, who was committed to SMU, flipped because he played with Prime, I think, when he was a youngster. And so now he reunites with him at the college level.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, and another guy with like insane speed. So there's so many options. Someone said no Nico Reed in the slot is crazy. We talked about it.
We did.
You can put Nico Reed in the slot. It just depends on kind of what you're trying to do. Or not really what you're trying to do. What the offense is trying to do, and what you're trying to counter. The reason it was Silman Craig is because he's a jack of all trades.
Yep.
He kind of fits. You could really play him in all situations.
When you talk about Charles Kelly, a guy who developed guys like Derwin James, Jalen Ramsey, these do-it-all safety corner players, why not Cameron Silman Craig?
Right. And our guy Nicholas in the comments said he plays just like Bob Sanders.
Love that.
Hell of a
I
compliment.
love that. Let's talk about some safeties then. Next guy, probably one of the biggest, most impactful transfers in, our guy Slusher from Arkansas.
This actually has Trevor Woods up.
Oh, is it Trevor Woods first? Okay, so Trevor Woods then. Another former Buff is going to be... You can throw both of them up, sure. Trevor Woods, probably the best player for the defense last year. A guy who we even talked about, could he play linebacker? Just not that big yet. We'll see, though. He's another like Cameron Silman Craig guy. We're just throw him in the slot, depending on the down and distance.
Right. Or if no one breaks out in that second linebacker position and you need a coverage guy out there, maybe you do go play him down at the second level. Someone in the comments just said like Trevor Woods might have to hit the portal. I honestly hope not, because he is a dog, straight up. Like, brings an edge to the defense. Got himself kicked out of a couple games, which you don't love to see. Not as problematic now that they're actually going to have depth at the position,
Right.
but lays the boom, always out there looking to make a big play, looking to make a big hit. Literally saved the game in the one win of the season. I love Trevor Woods, and I think he's going to play a lot.
Yes. Guys, we're not forgetting about Shiloh, I promise you. Miles Slusher, though, this guy is a veteran SEC safety that has the production. Last season, had a calf injury against Alabama that kind of derailed his season. But in 2021, played in 11 games, started 8. In his 3 years at Arkansas, Slusher charted 93 total tackles, 9 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, 2 picks, 2 passes defensed, and 2 forced fumbles. He was a 2020 4-star recruit.
Yeah, I mean, he's a beast. He's a beast. And we're not, like you said, forgetting about Shiloh.
Yes.
Shiloh's going to play.
Oh, yeah.
For sure. And Shiloh can play. And we're actually big Shiloh fans on and off the field.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, Slusher is a beast.
Yeah.
Who played a lot in the SEC. Now, I will say Slusher and Woods might be a little bit redundant. You might want to go with like more of a speedy coverage, deep safety in certain situations. Obviously, Shiloh could be, can bring you that speed. I think, would you say, I think he's probably a step faster than either of these guys. So there's going to be a lot of mixing and matching. We could only put 11 out there. Actually, Jake didn't want to, but I said we should only put 11. So nice to have these options.
Yes. Another guy who's kind of a wild card, Torrin Pittman last year, kind of filled in, and I believe they moved him from corner to safety when they had all the safety injuries. He played pretty well there. You talk about some speed and maybe like a single high type guy to at least develop.
Yep. And just to
ahead.
mention on Shiloh, I think a lot of people who are coming from the Buff side, not the JSU side, don't know the fact that he had suffered a serious injury months before last season, was able to recover at an unreal rate just to get out there and play. So he wasn't even fully himself last season at Jackson State.
For sure. And then another couple guys we should mention. They got 3-star safety Jaden Milliner-Jones from DeSoto, Texas.
Yep.
And then, that's it. That's the only other one. So there it is.
Yes. Like we said, it's going to be controversial in the comments.
I know.
But what I love about this comment section, never mean-spirited.
No, of course not.
We can always disagree. We can go back and forth on this guy or that guy or this thing or that thing. But what I love about you guys in there is that we always keep it civil.
Yep. To build on that, the community's just been amazing so far, and we really appreciate you guys' love. Twitter, the comments here, the thumbs up, everything.
Yeah, you guys are the best.
Let's try and get these likes up to 400 by the time I finish telling you about our friends over at Breckenridge Brewery.
Let's go.
You guys know we love our Breck beers here at DMBR. They have a beer brewed for every occasion. How about trying out an Avalanche Amber Ale? It is Avs season. They're starting to pick it up, aren't they? Aren't they getting guys back?
For what?
The Avs?
Yes. Slowly but surely. McKinnon's back. Rantanen is on a tear. So, yeah, they've won 3 in a row.
Love to hear that. You can also find my favorite, the Mountain Beach Sour. Just check out their beer locator at www.breckbrew.com to find a Breck brew near you. Shout out Breckenridge Brewery. $3.91. You guys almost did it.
Oh, so close.
So close.
Next update, I bet it'll be over 400.
Yes. All right. We don't really have news. Little YouTube corner.
Let's
Or
go.
Did we already kind of hit all our bases there?
I think we can get through a few things.
One, I kind of brought this up, but who is in the thumbnail with Jimmy Horn?
Oh, he said it was someone in the comments said it was Assad Wasim.
Oh,
So,
love that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yes.
Also, any other names that were there that I don't have to kind of dig through pictures and rosters of?
And apparently, Bucky said, okay, because I think there were a lot of people. Who's this guy? Who's that guy? Who's this guy?
Yeah.
He said, okay, I'll start giving, labeling the players when
Right.
they show up in the video for the first time, which would be very helpful.
It would be.
Because on both sides of this, right, you have our side of it where there's at this point right now, 30 new faces
Yeah.
already that we're trying to learn. Some of them are obvious. And then on the other side of it, you have, the Jackson fans who followed and came over to follow the Buffs who don't recognize someone like a Jalen Sami when he shows up in the video.
For sure. It would be very helpful. Bucky's on it though. He'll get us sorted out. I'm going through all these videos here. Did you finish when Coach Prime brought in the support staff meeting, brought all the women up
Yep.
and set it down right there. We are not going to be disrespecting women. Any type of controversy, don't even call me, don't call Rick.
Yeah, I love that. If there's something domestic on your name, don't call me. Don't have your mom call me. Don't call Rick. You're done. And I think it's really important for a coach to make sure that standard is set there. Another thing, a classic one where the comments are all, why is there always a camera?
Yeah.
There's always a camera.
Yes.
No matter what is happening. It's not as if there's only ever a camera when things are all, scripted or like that.
Right.
There's always a camera 24/7. So get used to it.
Watch that Gary Harrell and Cavassier Smoke video.
Where is it?
That is on the pregame show. Get to know Coach Flea, Coach Prime's running back and right-hand man.
I love when they showed Jimmy when Bucky showed Jimmy Horn and he was joking about how he got dragged in the comments for not knowing who he was. And then Jimmy's like, "Go follow my YouTube page and say." I was like, "How many more YouTube pages?"
Shelomite has a YouTube page now too.
I mean, she should for sure.
Yes,
but I'm just like, I don't know. I can't. Eventually, we're not even gonna be able to keep up.
I know it's
Cormani's gonna come in. He's gonna have his YouTube channel going.
Yep, can't wait. All right, yeah. Let's throw some questions on the screen here. Let's talk to the people. From Kamal, what do you think of the backup quarterbacks?
What backup quarterbacks?
That's a good question. Glad to see Casey Wiseman's okay.
Oh my God, man. Crazy. I don't know if you guys saw it, but Casey Wiseman posted a video of his car just, ripped to shreds. Kind of looked like it had hit a power line or something like that. And he said, he's okay, thankfully. But wow, what a scary, scary tweet to see come across the timeline.
For sure. In those videos with Shador, it does look like there's another quarterback there.
Yep.
I don't know who it was, though.
Nope.
Ryan Staub, maybe?
Could have been. Yeah, I didn't even think of him. Those are the backup quarterbacks in my mind, is Casey Wiseman, Ryan Staub.
Yep.
I think that they're young, and I don't want to see them.
Yes, that would be the ideal situation. Who else we got? Yeah. From Tony Ann, is Elijah any good? Elijah,
Don't know.
don't know. Next one.
Could be.
Hit the comments.
You guys already answered.
What's that?
I think this one you
Oh yeah, can they go in the portal? But can't
can't
get picked up till May. No, you
No.
can't go in the portal, but you can get picked up anytime
Right.
if you were already in.
Is the Pac-12 a mostly passing or running conference? We're slinging the ball around the yard out here, baby.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I guess right now it is. It had like back in the day, it was like Ryan Leaf and
Right.
Aaron Rodgers, and like it was kind of crazy like that. Mostly all teams slinging it around. Like then Chip Kelly comes and brings all that team speed to Oregon,
Mike
and they're
Leach?
spreading it out. Yeah, then you have Mike Leach. So there was a little period there where it wasn't as crazy, but now Caleb Williams, Michael Penix,
Bo Nix,
Bo Nix,
Delora, Cam Ward,
Shador. So now we're back to a sling it conference. It
Yeah.
is very much a throw it conference. With that being said, the team who probably runs it the most
Exactly what I was going to say.
is Utah, and they have been running the conference for a couple of years now.
Yep. Perfectly said. Next one. From Jamel, what's up, man? Does the Buffs number 21 have a stigma on it because of RC, or am I just old?
No. Ray Caruth, I think, is who he's mentioning here. But no, I don't think anyone associates 21 with him in that way.
I can't remember who was or weren't the 21s last year anyways, so.
Are we to assume that Shiloh is getting 21?
Oh, yeah.
Fire.
Hold on. I want to hit this before I move on and find who was 21 last year. It wasn't Isaiah Lewis was 23, right?
Yep.
21. It might be Torrin Pittman.
No, I thought he was like 15.
Okay, it was Joshua Wiggins, the cornerback.
Okay.
He was a freshman last year.
What was Pittman?
Pittman, I don't know. Jaylee Stacks was also
Oh, right.
21. Pittman was 22.
Okay.
Next question. Will Kofi be a true freshman? Yes, he's a 3-star recruit coming in this year.
A London guy.
Yep.
Still need the third guy from London.
Uh-huh. Yeah. He's coming. Next one. Oh, I saw someone tagged me in a video. It was just the intro of it. But did y'all catch Coach Prime on the talk today? I mean, this man.
He was in Orlando.
Yep.
This last weekend, speaking at like a conference.
Yep.
Unbelievable. I got an ad. Actually, this is too soon. I won't say this yet.
Okay. Next question. Yeah. Will Prime run too tight? Just thinking off the top of my head, I don't remember Kent State running a lot of too tight. I'm sure it's definitely in there. But base personnel seems to be a lot of 11 and 10, 21 even. They run 2 backs a lot.
Yes.
So
I didn't see it. I saw actually very little one tight end.
Yeah.
So
Well, and if they are there, they're flexed out usually.
right.
So-
And that's why you have Traore, who's a seam stretcher.
Yep. Do it all guy.
Yep.
From RJ, did you guys see the news that Jaden Rashada? Come on, he's supposed to be in Colorado. This.
We did not see that.
Oh my god.
But if that's true, that's insane.
Uh,
I can't wait for all the people who say Colorado just has all this NIL money to throw around.
I'm looking this up right now. I still don't see
It
any.
might be
news
a
on him, but
rumor more than news. I
Man.
think we would have seen it if it was news.
If he's here this weekend, though, could you imagine?
Everyone's coming to Boulder.
Everyone is coming. Lance with the super chat.
Oh, wait.
We're going from. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that. That's a Dan to be paid. He gets the time.
Ah, okay.
Connor Johnson, who I'm not going to call him a hater. He's just a doubter at this point. He's very obviously an Oregon State fan.
Yeah.
Very much a break pusher. So, I just saw him going back and forth in the comments. He said, "Everyone thinks I'm mean spirited, but I'm not. I don't think actually people do. You're just
Yeah.
not sold yet."
He's a Beavers fan.
Yeah.
Anyways, he asked, where would you rank Shador in terms of best pack QBs? What a question. I mean, when we did our draft, he went 4th overall, 2nd round. But
I think he's going to be second
let's go.
by the end of next season.
Let's go. Start up that hype machine, man.
I don't know. Like, am I really afraid of Bo Nix?
I'm afraid of Penix, though. That man is a surgeon on the field.
Just kind of think that Shador is a better version of him.
It's gonna be a
Or
great.
will be.
I wish they played this year.
I'm glad they don't. Washington was good. That was probably the least fun game to watch.
The Utah one was pretty bad.
That's
man.
true. But I was like in the stands drunk with my friends.
Right.
So that one was fun for me.
I remember I got so bored during the Utah game, I found you in the stands with my binoculars.
Oh, wow. That is a high level of
Yeah.
boredom. The Washington game was like you and me, basically the only people in the bar watching it.
Oh, that one was, yeah, that was rough. That
It
was
was
rough.
so bad.
We're not going to have many of those this next year.
We can look back and laugh at that stuff now.
For sure. Ivy League Mac asks, can Morgan stop the run at linebacker? I mean, obviously it hasn't been proven at a college level yet, but when we played the tape, I wish I could
He was
remember which show.
knifing into the backfield in
Yeah.
those clips.
He's an athlete, man. All right, next one from Bama Boy. Who's Coach Prime going to visit in San Diego? Who knows? We'll find out in a day or two when the video comes out.
Yeah, exactly.
Brian Leaf. Next question. Brandon, does anybody know what positions the Buffs still need players at?
Linebacker.
Linebacker. They've been going after a veteran receiver, as I said.
A big veteran receiver.
Yep. I wonder if the running back thing is kind of that ship has sailed now with Kvassier Smoke
I think so.
kind of in. So.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you had an opportunity at that Utah running back, I don't think you're turning him away
Right.
because he's super talented. But I think those two, we just named it. Inside linebacker, which actually I don't know if we've seen that many targets. That's a personal one for me.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas wide receiver, we know they're trying to get a big-bodied
Yep.
veteran wide receiver. And I'm just like thinking, after watching Shador just put the ball wherever he wants to in those clips last night, I'm just thinking like, yeah, they want a guy who on 3rd and 5 can run a slant. Shador can put it nice and far away from his body. He plucks it up and, goes
Yep.
down and moves the chains.
Yep. Big red zone target. Here you go, Ryan from Jamel again. What are the best seats at Folsom?
I'm not exaggerating at all when I say there are no bad seats at Folsom. But I personally believe the best place to be, I'm of two minds on this. If I was looking to get like a cheap ticket, I would go south end zone, second level. Because I personally think that's the best way to watch football.
Yep.
It's essentially you're
100.
getting the all 22 view.
Yep.
And so you're seeing how the offensive line is opening holes, and it's a lot easier to notice when the guards are pulling and whatnot. I personally sit like 45-yard line east side. I would say if you're coming for your first time, sit on the east side. West Side's a little more stuffy.
Yes,
East Side gets rowdy.
for sure. And if it's cold too, you don't want to be on the west side because you're right under the press box. And
Right,
it's
it's
in
true.
the
Oh,
shade.
and East Side, you get the view of the mountains.
Yes, yes. Next question from Jared: Is McChesney working with any of these dudes? I don't think so.
He's definitely working with dudes on the team. I just don't know any of the new guys
right.
yet.
Yep.
And to be honest, I think you'll see a bunch of guys going down there to work with him. And he's got a great track record of helping guys improve.
Yep. Seems like he's more focused on like the high school kids though, right?
Yes, but he does it. He kind of like he has a mix. A lot of it is, high school kids in Colorado trying to get noticed and get better so they can get recruited. But then you'll have guys in college who want to go work with him in the off season. You'll even have NFL guys, like players on the Broncos will go to his gym and work out with him on off days.
He was at the program a few times last year, like hyping up the team at practice and stuff.
Yeah, I mean he's a legend player.
Next question from Lawrence. We already talked about this, but now you have another notice. You need to watch the Coach Prime or the Coach Flea video with Cavassier Smoke.
We need like a open Google Doc
Yes.
for everyone.
Right.
Whenever a new video drops, you just drop it in there.
Yep. Lawrence, again, do you guys foresee any surprise flips to the Buffs on signing day besides Cormani? Thanks, Uncle Luke. Who knows?
Cormani, so much of our attention, especially in the high school ranks, have been on Cormani. I also think this, remember, Coach Prime said 40-40-20, right?
Yep.
40% grad transfers, 40% undergrad transfers, or regular transfers, and 20% high school kids. They're kind of already at that 20%.
Right.
Actually, over 20% of high school kids. So
They had a big early signing day class.
right. I just don't know how many guys they're even targeting in the high school ranks for the February 1st signing day.
Angela asks, are the sports bars in Boulder close to Folsom like they are at NFL stadiums?
Boulder has a sports bar problem, in my opinion. Not a lot of options in that regard, but Dark Horse is pretty darn close to the stadium.
Yep.
It's kind of if you're not a tailgater, then people go there. I also got to shout out my guy DJ's Watering Hole. That's not near the stadium per se, but it's on the way to the stadium if you're coming from Denver. Sports bar, I envision going there after games this year to catch some other college football games. But Dark Horse would be the one sports bar, which is not even necessarily that, but they do have TVs on and sports bar like food, which is pretty close to the stadium, but not a lot of options in that regard.
44 likes away, guys. 42 now. Let's go.
We're gonna do it.
Who's going to the CU versus Washington game tonight? I'm going. Will be there.
I might.
Okay.
I'm a GTD.
All right.
Game time decision.
Sounds good. Check game time.
Exactly. Quite literally a game time decision.
Yes. PD Swag, with the restrictions on the transfer portal coming in 2024, do you think Coach Prime will go extra hard to bring in transfers this offseason? I need to look more into that because honestly, I'm not up to date exactly on that yet.
And I don't know, is that news or rumor at this point?
I honestly don't really know. I mean, I'm assuming it's something that is at least a very strong rumor, probably already maybe in place. I've seen a lot of people talking about it.
It's essentially just not going to be a free-for-all anymore?
I don't know.
Okay, we'll find out. We'll come back to you on that.
Cody asks, what kind of start can this offense have optimistically? Sky's the limit.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they can do anything. Really. It all comes down to the quarterback in this game. And they have one of the best in the country, in my opinion. So the sky is the absolute limit. I do think, it would be nice to add that one trusty big wide receiver, but I don't think that's necessarily a need. Dylan Edwards gives you elite speed, that most teams in college football don't have.
Yep.
You have revamped the entire offensive line, which is the number one thing I was worried about. I don't think there's anything holding them back. And they have one of the best offensive coordinators in the nation.
Yes. It's just going to be exciting if they just chain together first downs and like have their first drive of the year. If it's like, I don't know, 10-play, 80-yarder or whatever.
Yep. Or it's
Hype.
just an 80-yard touchdown to
Yes.
Travis Hunter on a little post.
Yep. The hype would be out of control at that point. Who do you think will be the lead returner?
J5.
Yep, he's in there. Nico Reed's in there also. Dylan Edwards, throw him in there. May as well.
For sure. Although if I'm putting hits on Dylan Edwards, I want him coming in my offense personally.
Right. Deion Smith returned kicks too. Is it true that 12 CU players hopped in the portal yesterday? I don't think it's no.
Did any?
I don't think so. 2 days ago it was Bell and Shrout.
Yep. We would have heard about it. But maybe there's news coming soon?
CU seems to be pretty quick with the getting it down. Like
Right.
maybe it was 12 players total because that's what the total is.
Okay, that makes sense.
12 likes away. Jared, great question. First play from scrimmage, run or pass? Call it now.
Pass.
Pass? I will say pass too, but give me Dylan Edwards on a little like screen with the receivers out there.
See,
blocking.
even you're on my team now. We're putting Dylan Edwards out there on the first play. I love it.
We'll see.
I do like a little like, you could even motion him out one way or just go at the snap and just like an easy swing pass, get those, wide receivers and linemen downfield and, let him go crazy.
I wouldn't mind seeing like a Shador Cavassier smoke, just zone read with Savion Washington and Tyler Brown coming around on the first play for like 8 yards.
Love
just
that.
set the tone. One like away. Come
Wow, we're
on.
gonna do it.
Sean Charles.
I can't wait
I
to.
need the cast right now.
I love this. Make sure you screenshot this when we get to 500 and put it in at Nuggets assignments. love
Sean, if CU gets a 500 record, you think he
Boom.
wins Pac-12 Coach of the Year?
500, I don't think we'll do it.
I think 8+.
I'm with you. 8 wins from 1. He gets it.
Next question. From Ran67. Ryan, have you ever been this high? Or
Have you
has
ever
this
seen
program-
Go ahead.
Go ahead. Have you?
I think he meant to say, have you ever seen this program with this much hype?
Yes.
No. But the only time it was ever close was in a world where hype didn't exist on the levels that it does now.
Right.
In 2001, I think, that team went to the Big 12 championship and won it. I guess probably the highest hype levels ever comes after 62-36 for my lifetime. Obviously, they've won a national championship. 62-36, they blow out the number 1 team in the country, and a lot of people thought there was a chance that CU would get sent to the national championship against Miami, who was one of those insane Miami teams. Who it ended up being Nebraska. Imagine that, Nebraska, after getting their asses beat by the Buffs, turns around, doesn't even go to the Big 12 championship game, a game that the Buffs go to and beat Texas. And Nebraska's sorry asses go to the national championship. And maybe did everyone a favor because they just absolutely ran into a buzzsaw that had like 5 or 10 NFL Hall of Famers on it, and they got smoked.
Better days, man.
But the hype at that moment was insane.
the pre-Twitter era.
Yeah, exactly. It's like if that had happened during Twitter, the memes would have been insane.
I'm so glad we have the playoff for that reason. We don't have to worry about is 3 going to jump number 2 to get in the title game?
Without playing in their conference
Yes.
title game. Oh,
Hated that.
Disgusting.
Lance, we didn't forget about you. His super chat. I might be loving the snow more than the people from Colorado. Jimmy Horn Jr. on Well Off Media Wait, I'm confused. The Twitter troll said no kids from Florida want to go to cold-ass Colorado. And Travis Hunter's out there throwing snowballs, having fun, a blast at Folsom Field.
I mean, I love this because I've been saying it my whole life. Like, Colorado isn't that cold. Of course, it's going to be colder than Arizona or any of those places. But when you compare it to places like Ohio and Michigan and Nebraska and Kansas and all these places where no one really even talks about, like, no one ever says, like, I don't know if a kid's going to want to go to Nebraska because it's cold. Like, but for some reason that comes up in Colorado, I think just because we have the mountains and like a lot of the imagery that surrounds Colorado involves snow. But it's not that cold here.
No.
And oftentimes, even when it snows, you're getting sunny day the next day. It's all melting. It's beautiful. People, you know, they joke around that like the official outfit of someone from Colorado, especially dudes, is like shorts and a hoodie in the winter.
Yeah.
So it's not that cold.
That's my grocery store attire.
There you go. I would do the same.
Yep.
Yeah. So I love that guys like Jimmy Horn and Travis Hunter and Shador and Bucky and Coach Prime
Tyler
himself,
Brown said so.
Tyler Brown. Everyone's like, yeah, it's really not that cold.
Yep.
Beautiful thing.
Love Colorado. Beautiful place. That it? One on the screen from Sean. Y'all boys got the plug on ticks for the USC game.
Sadly, no.
No.
There might come time. I have no idea what to expect because in a past life, on Thursday or Friday, I would get texts from people saying, hey, I have some extra tickets this weekend. You know anyone who wants them? And so, like, sometimes people would even give them to them. We'd give them away on the show. Maybe that still happens. I really have no idea. But as of right now, the tickets might as well be in Fort Knox.
Right.
Because not even Henry could get some tickets. So it's going to be really interesting. I can't wait to just see once all the season tickets are doled out and everything, like what I want to go on StubHub and see what the aftermarket price or game time and see what the aftermarket price is for this game because I think it's going to be 4 digits.
Yep. They're going to be the hottest tickets in America.
I think so,
NFL or college football.
Might just need to add another bleacher like somewhere in the stadium just to get 100 more people in.
Yep. Cody asked what bowl game is the coolest name. I like the Tony the Tiger Bowl this year, the Frosted Flakes one.
I really got a kick out of the San Diego County Credit Union Holiday Bowl.
Okay, last super chat. We got to go. I know you talked about it yesterday some, but what is your ideal new uniform to see the Buffs in?
New uniform? What does that mean?
I guess...
Like if they're gonna bring in something totally new that we don't have right now, what would it be?
Yeah, in your imagination, what would you want it to be?
I want a gold jersey with black number.
That would look sweet.
Yep. And I'm imagining it with like a black helmet. Then you have the gold jersey with black number, black pants. I think that would be fire. They've actually done it in 1 year. In the late 90s, they had that look. And you'll still see people wearing it around once in a while. But I thought it was sick. So I'm down to bring it back. It is our
show after this. That's right.
530 likes. Why would we stop now? But if we don't have any more questions, we can probably wrap.
Well, Angela's asking how many student tickets does CU give out, and are the students close to the bench? They are right there.
Students are on top of the bench. Sadly, not the visitors bench, although maybe for safety's reasons, that's a good thing. They're really, it's not going to last because the students get half of the best seats in the stadium, starting at the 50-yard line on the east side all the way around to now 75% of the end zone. So I think it was 10,000 last year, going up to 12,000 this year. It's probably going to be the rowdiest student section in America.
Oh, yeah.
For 1 year before they realized we're missing out on a lot of money by giving them those awesome seats. And I think that dream is going to die eventually, but for now, maybe the best student section in America in terms of how well they get hooked up by the university of where they get to sit.
For sure. They get a massive amount of seats. We're at 537. Do we have anything else? TCO lost their quarterback, running back, and wide receiver. Will this make the opening game more competitive? For sure.
I think it's going to be very competitive. They're also losing Hodges Tomlinson, I believe,
Yep.
who was their kind of star corner.
Is Horton the edge rusher declaring?
I don't know.
I think he's been in college for a while.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, they're going to be a different team for sure. They're also going with Kendall Briles as their offensive coordinator because they lost Garrett Riley, who was very high on our list of potential coaches before we knew Coach Prime was an option or a true option. Although I guess we did put, I think Garrett Riley was in S tier with Coach Prime.
Oh, yeah.
When we ranked all the possible candidates. So they're going to have a challenge for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be a very competitive game.
People really want to get you to 550. We'll draw some more questions.
I think we'll get to 550 between now and when we start wrapping up.
Yeah.
Cotton Bowl berth or San Diego Bowl? I mean, selfishly, I'd just like to go to San Diego.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. The Cotton Bowl may be more prestigious, but yeah, going to San Diego would be nice.
Las Vegas Bowl, that's like a 6-win bowl, but
Right.
at least you get to go to Vegas.
Yep. We'll see. We're going somewhere. I think.
Hawaii Bowl.
Oh, man, imagine.
I don't think the Pac-12 plays in that one.
Just for the Cancun Bowl. Let that
The Cancun Bowl. They do have a Bahamas Bowl.
Does it still exist?
I think so. But it's usually one of the first ones of the year, though.
Right. That had one of the craziest finishes ever a couple of years ago.
With UAB, was it that game?
It's like the pitchy,
pitchy woo.
Yes, exactly.
All right. That's it. We're going to be doing DMVR bets right after this, guys. Thank you for watching. We also have the podcast. So if you go search Buffs on your favorite podcasting app, subscribe, hit that 5-star review. We'd really appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow earlier, I believe, is still the plan.
Yes.
I'll
I'm
tweet
told
out.
it was 11 a.m.
Okay, so 11 a.m. There you have it. We'll be back tomorrow, guys. Go Buffs.
Let's go Buffs.